The Shrink Ray. All new weapons, all new levels. Ratchet and Clank size matters.
Sony platformer fans rejoice following the release of Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, which became one of the biggest hits of the PlayStation Plus classics, as well as the addition of PSP classic Daxter, both arriving on the PS Store and PS Plus Premium last month. This month, though, saw the addition of Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. Next to Daxter, this was one of the reasons to buy a PSP back in the day, cause it was the very first time you could take Ratchet & Clank on the go, before the PS Vita collection was a thing. It went so far as receiving its own PSP bundle, which sold over 1 million units on its own, but the overall PSP version sold over 4.6 million copies, making it the 5th best-selling PSP game ever, and also the 2nd best-selling Ratchet game ever. Size Matters released on the PSP way back in February 2007, 17 years ago, with a PS2 release launching in March 2008. This current release, which is playable on both PS4 and PS5, is the PSP version, and as with every PSP re-release of this nature, Size Matters is enhanced with up-rendering so it looks cleaner than the original, rewind and quick save so you can warp back to a previous point for if you get stuck or don't want to keep redoing the same sections over and over again. Control remapping, oh, I've got something to say about this later. Custom video filters, as well as under-scanning. No idea why this is a feature, but okay. There's also trophy support, giving all you trophy hunters over 30 additional trophies to earn across both the PS4 and PS5 versions, which means 2 platinum trophies. The game's available for purchase and download for $10 US on the PlayStation Store. If you buy the PS4 version, you also get the PS5 version. And if you have a PS Plus Premium subscription, it's included so you can either download it or stream it. For those who might not have heard of Size Matters before today, let me give you a quick spoiler-free rundown of the game before hopping in. Size Matters, both the PSP and PS2 versions, were originally developed by High Impact Games, the same studio who worked on Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier, and the PSP port of Secret Agent Clank. Both are often considered to be the worst games in both series, with the latter having an extremely high chance of popping up in the next couple of months. High Impact was formed in 2004 by a group of former Insomniac and Naughty Dog employees. The studio unfortunately became defunct around late 2012, with their last game on PS3 and Xbox 360 being cancelled. Now, Size Matters may be the first non-Insomniac developed Ratchet game, but it is the 5th installment in the series, releasing before Tools of Destruction later that year, and taking place right after Deadlocked. It is, in fact, canon to the rest of the series. Insomniac Games confirmed it back in 2017, not to mention the game's main villain, Auto Destruct, appears in the Insomniac Museum of the 2016 reimagining. Just wanted to throw that out there in case there's still some lingering confusion. A short synopsis of the game was provided. Explore the mysterious Technomite universe and even journey inside Clank's head in this original adventure built for the PSP system. Wield weapons, customize your armor, and shrink yourself down to discover the new worlds. Focusing on the bit about the armor, this is actually the first game in the series where customizable armor became a thing. Yes, you can upgrade armor in most games, but often can't go back to previous armors. Size Matters was the first to do it and often had different effects when you have the right armor set. It's kinda similar to Ty Free's custom boomerang system that doesn't get brought up very much. Insomniac themselves wouldn't implement this custom armor feature until Rift Apart. Fantastic game, by the way, definitely my new favorite in the series. Though these armors don't offer special effects, outside of offering protection from damage from certain enemy types, increased wrench hammer damage, or increased bolt raritanium and experience rates. You can change the colors and use armors from previous games. Definitely recommend the Holoflux and Deadlocked armors, though the Nebulox armor from Into the Nexus is not here, and that's kinda upsetting. David Bergold, I really hope I pronounced that correctly, returned, as with previous games, to compose the music for this one. Still a fantastic soundtrack as always. But with the addition of size matters, and likely the soon-to-be addition of Secret Agent Clank, every single Ratchet & Clank game, not counting crossovers, will be technically playable on both PS4 and PS5. I say technically because every PS2 and PS3 era Ratchet game requires streaming. Unlike Jak and Daxter, where every game in the series except crossovers are available for purchase and download. To make matters worse, not every country has the streaming feature yet, so therefore blocking off people from experiencing most of the series, outside of size matters, the PS4 reimagining, and Rift Apart. But now that PS2 classics are now regular editions every month, we may finally get the PS2 Ratchet games at some point, though PS3 emulation for the future saga may be farther away from happening. But anyway, Size Matters was one of the Ratchet games I've never played. Part of that was due to the things I've heard about it, mostly the PS2 version cause that was the only console I had at the time, so I'm thankfully able to go into this game blind. I haven't finished it, but I easily spent at least an hour trying to remap the controls to where I mostly needed them to be, and still cannot perform long or high jumps without constantly switching the controls around. I don't know. I'm having fun with it, but maybe they should have just ported the PS2 version instead? Would have been a lot less of a headache for me, and not to mention there's the option for local multiplayer. Though like other PSP games, there's unfortunately no saving the cutscene quality. Also, has anyone noticed that the original game was rated E10+, now it's rated T for teen? I'm gonna take this as a mistake given the exact same thing happened with The Lost Frontier when it re-released a few months back. Since then, it has been fixed, so I would say the same will happen here too. And before I go, I just want to remind everyone that we're fast approaching 7,000 subscribers. And because of that, I'll be doing a Q&A video to celebrate this long overdue milestone. I've only mentioned it on Twitter and community posts, but I felt like I should at least put it in video form. So just keep an eye out as we get close to the goal, cause I will be accepting questions for it soon. Also, I don't know why I never mentioned this, but the channel's had merch for a few months now, so if you want a cup or a shirt, just click the link in the description or in the video or wherever I managed to put it. You don't have to buy it, but it does support me and what I do here on the channel. But with all that said, guys, that's going to do it for this video, but I'm curious, have you gotten to play this port of Size Matters yet? And what other classics from the PS2 and PSP would you like to see added in the future? Be sure to leave everything down in the comments section below. Also be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for more Ratchet and PlayStation content. Once again, I've been Blue Knight. Thank you so much for watching and for the constant support. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys back here next time.